Most men who hear my voice today will live and die with more potential in their graves than wealth in their purses. They will waste their prime years making another man rich, hoping for a lucky break that never comes, excusing themselves with words like hard times, bad luck, or fate. And I say to you, if you are one of them, it is not fate that keeps you poor. It is your habits. Wealth is not the property of the clever, nor the inheritance of the favored. It is the result of certain laws that work for every man who obeys them and against every man who does not. These laws do not bend to sympathy, pity, or good intentions. They reward the man who acts in harmony with them and punish the man who ignores them. And right now, if you are struggling, you are being punished by laws you have not yet learned to use. You are 3 habits away from unlimited wealth. 3. Not 20, not 100, not 1,000, and yet most will not take them. Why? Because these habits demand that you stop living like the crowd. They require you to give up the comfortable excuses that keep you exactly where you are. They force you to look in the mirror and admit the truth, that the man staring back has been his own greatest obstacle. Stay with me, and I will give you these 3 habits. They are simple, but they are not easy. They can be learned by any man who will begin today, but they cannot be learned by the man who drifts, delays, or divides his attention between success and comfort. If you cannot bear to be told that your present life is the sum of your own choices, leave now. But if you can bear it, and if you can bear to change those choices, I will show you how to own not only money, but time, independence, and the respect of those whose respect is worth having. You will hear me speak of men who began with nothing: Barnes, Woolworth, Carnegie, Rockefeller, men who passed from obscurity to power because they practiced these 3 habits until they became part of their nature. What they did, you can do, but you must stay to hear it all. If you leave halfway, you will leave with half the law, and a half-truth is more dangerous than a lie. Close your door. Set aside every distraction. Fix your mind here and now, for what I am about to give you will work only if you give it your full attention. Attention is the price. Freedom is the reward. If you will pay that price in the next minutes, you may never again live under the shadow of want. If you will not, then your poverty, be it of purse or of purpose, will be your own doing. The choice is yours. You cannot hear what I am about to say and remain the same. The man who hears truth and refuses to act condemns himself to drift. And drifting is the silent destroyer of men's years. It robs without noise. It strips without warning. It trades your life for small pay, idle talk, and the false comfort of sameness. I will name to you 3 habits. Each is a gate to riches. Pass one and you will be richer. Pass all 3 and there is no height you cannot reach. They are these: first, definiteness of purpose. Second, extra service joined to the habit of saving. Third, controlled attention guided by faith, autosuggestion, and accurate thinking. These 3, bound together, form the law of unlimited wealth. The man who passes none of these gates lives the average path. That path begins with school and ends with regret. It pays him just enough to keep him returning. It fills his hours with the tasks of other men. It teaches him to fear criticism more than poverty. It rewards him with a home ruled by worry and old age visited by want. I tell you plainly, you cannot afford the average path. It is too costly. It will consume your youth and give you nothing that cannot be taken from you in a moment. You will rise at hours another man sets, sit at the work another man commands, and watch your life measured in the coins that barely cover the cost of living. In contrast, stands the path of purpose. This path begins with a clear aim, measured hours, and a plan you wrote with your own hand. It gathers to you cordial alliances with men of will. It raises your pay because your service demands it. It brings calm to your home because your mind is not at the mercy of fear. This path is open, but it must be chosen. Before I tell you the steps, I must command your attention. Close your door. Send away interruptions. Put pen and clean paper before you. Your eyes must be on the page, your ears on my words. Attention is the coin with which you purchase wisdom. If you spend it on two things at once, you buy nothing. If you are not prepared to hear, write, and act, stop now, for these habits cannot be learned with a divided mind. But if you are prepared, you must take a vow. I will hear with my full mind. I will write what is commanded. I will act before the day ends. This is the pledge that will separate you from the drifting crowd. The plan I place before you begins with a 30-day drill to fix the 3 habits into your daily rhythm. You will meet with your master mind twice each week. You will read your definite aim aloud each morning and night. You will keep a ledger of extra service rendered. You will save 1/10 of all income and direct it toward tools and study. These are not empty exercises. Each is the seed of a habit. A habit is a law written in the mind. When you make a law for yourself that serves you, you no longer fight to obey it. It carries you forward without strain, just as a river carries the ship once the sails are set to the wind. To light your imagination, I give you the sparks of men who passed these gates. Edwin C. Barnes decided to be in business with Edison, rode a freight train to his town, and began in a humble place, holding his aim until it was done. Dr. Frank W. Gonzalez declared in one sermon his plan to build a college, and Philip D. Armour supplied the funds because the plan was definite. F. W. Woolworth began with a single counter in another man's store and built a chain across the nation by holding to his aim. Andrew Carnegie surrounded himself with able men, combined their minds into a master mind, and built an empire in steel. John D. Rockefeller kept strict account and saved from his first days as a clerk, directing his seed into ventures that multiplied it. Each of these men mastered one habit, then joined it to the others. Barnes had definiteness. Carnegie had organized planning. Rockefeller had saving. Gonzalez had faith. Woolworth had persistence. Joined together, these habits are a fortress. Alone, each is a wall without a gate. You must have all 3. Do not say, I will begin tomorrow. Tomorrow is the lie the average man tells himself until there are no tomorrows left. Begin now while your mind is stirred. The habits are simple, but they must be practiced daily until they are fixed. That is why we will start with the 30-day drill. 30 days will break the chains of drift and begin the chain of purpose. In these weeks, you will see the crowd turn aside to idleness while you take the next step toward your aim. You will watch others spend all they earn while you plant seed. You will hear idle talk and refuse it entry into your mind. You will measure your hours and spend them only where they advance your plan. This will change you more than years of wishing ever could. Before we begin, speak this seed of affirmation aloud with conviction. I am not a drifter. I am definite. I decide. I act. I persist. I render more service than I am paid to render. I save with purpose. I govern my attention. Say it until you believe it, for your belief will decide your obedience, and your obedience will decide your fortune. From this hour forward, remember, wealth is not given, it is grown. And like all growth, it is the result of seed, soil, and care. The 3 habits I will teach you are the seed. Your mind and your hours are the soil. Your daily obedience is the care. Miss one, and the harvest will not come. Keep them all, and the harvest will be certain. You now stand at the first gate. Pass it by taking the vow, guarding your attention, and preparing your tools, paper, pen, and the willingness to act. The road beyond leads to 2 more gates, and past them to a height where the air is clear and the view is wide. That height is yours if you will walk the road without turning back. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Without it, your labor is scattered, your mind divided, and your rewards meager. With it, every hour is a brick laid toward a single structure. It is a law of nature that no man drifts into wealth or greatness. He must fix his course and steer by it until he arrives. To be definite is to choose one aim above all others, to write it in plain words, and to bind your will to its pursuit. Your aim must be so clear that a child could read and understand it. It must state the service you will render, the exact gain you will secure, and the date by which it shall be done. You must also write the first plan, however incomplete, and you must begin at once. Most men hesitate to choose, fearing they will miss a better chance. They spend their lives looking for a road without stones. In that search, the years pass, and they die where they began. The definite man chooses his road, knowing there will be stones, and he resolves to walk it until he reaches the end or finds a better one along the way. This is the habit that separates the leader from the follower. I give you now the 6 steps by which desire becomes reality. First, fix in your mind the exact amount of riches or the precise form of success you desire. Second, determine what you will give in return for it. Third, set a definite date by which you will possess it. Fourth, create a plan and begin at once, whether you are ready or not. Fifth, write the statement clearly. Sixth, read it aloud twice each day, morning and night, with feeling and faith. The words you write and speak are the orders you give to your subconscious mind. If you give them faintly, without conviction, they will be ignored. If you give them with emotion, they will be obeyed. That is why you must read your aim aloud with feeling, seeing yourself already in possession of it, acting as one who has already succeeded. Definiteness demands decision. Once you have chosen your aim, you must decide promptly on every matter that concerns it. Delay invites doubt, and doubt breeds fear. Fear will whisper reasons to turn back, and if you listen, you will lose the habit of forward motion. The definite man may change his methods when they fail, but he never changes his aim until it is attained. Close your mind to idle opinion, especially from those who have not succeeded in the thing you seek. The average man will tell you that your aim is too high, that times are unfavorable, that the risk is too great. He speaks from his own limitations, not from your potential. Guard your aim from such counsel as you would guard a treasure from thieves. Consider Edwin C. Barnes. His definite purpose was to be a business partner of Thomas A. Edison. He had no money for fare, yet he boarded a freight train to Orange, New Jersey. He had no introduction, yet he walked into Edison's office and asked for a chance. He began as a clerk, but he held his aim until years later he became Edison's partner. Think of F.W. Woolworth, who began with a few goods on a small counter in another man's store. His plan was plain, to sell 5 and 10-cent articles for cash. He expanded step by step, never swerving from that plan until his name crowned thousands of stores. The counter was small, but the purpose behind it was large. Recall Dr. Frank W. Gonzalez, who declared in a sermon that he would build a college for young men without means. He said he would do it if he could find a man with the faith to supply the funds. That man was Philip D. Armour, who heard the sermon and gave the money. The plan was definite, the aim was noble, and the declaration was made with conviction. Now, I command you to write your own definite chief aim. Write it in clear, simple words. Include what you will give in service, what you will gain, and the date by which it will be done. Do not concern yourself with the full plan now. It will grow as you act. Begin where you stand, with what you have. When you have written it, speak it aloud. Post it where your eyes will see it upon waking and before sleeping. Read it twice each day with all the feeling you can summon. As you read, imagine the work done, the service rendered, and the reward in hand. See it, feel it, believe it. In time, your mind will accept it as fact, and your acts will align with it. Make a list of 10 acts that will advance your aim. Choose the nearest one and do it before night. Then take the next, and the next. This is how you turn a statement into a result. A man who moves daily toward his aim will reach it, while the man who waits for a perfect moment will die waiting. Speak aloud this affirmation: I am definite. I choose my course and hold to it. My written aim is law to my hours. Let it be the standard by which you judge every use of your time. If an act does not serve your aim, refuse it. If a thought does not strengthen your aim, reject it. If a man does not respect your aim, limit his counsel. Definiteness of purpose is the habit upon which all other habits rest. Without it, extra service is wasted on tasks that lead nowhere. Without it, attention is scattered and faith unfocused. With it, every habit, every skill, and every hour is harnessed to a single goal. This is the first gate to wealth. Pass through it now and do not look back. A definite purpose is the compass, a plan is the map, and a mastermind alliance is the crew that brings the ship to harbor. Desire, no matter how intense, remains only a wish until it is organized into steps and dates and supported by the combined power of other minds in harmony. Organized planning is the bridge between thought and its physical reality. A plan without dates is like a ship without a rudder. It drifts with every current and lands nowhere in particular. A plan without men is a plan without hands. No matter how well you design it, it cannot be built. And a plan without order is a pile of lumber, not a structure. If you would pass the first gate and truly advance toward your definite purpose, you must clothe it with organization and people it with allies. Begin by taking your written aim and breaking it into steps, large and small, that can be measured. Assign a date to each step. Then ask yourself, what knowledge, skill, or influence is needed to accomplish this? Write the answers, for in those answers you will find the shape of your master mind. Those you invite must possess what you lack, and you must possess what they can use. The master mind is more than a group. It is a blending of minds in perfect harmony toward a common aim. From 2 to 5 members is enough for most purposes. Any more and harmony is more difficult to keep. Each man must be of proven integrity, steady industry, and willing cooperation. One disloyal member can undo the labor of many. Choose with the care of a jeweler selecting stones for a crown. When you have chosen, approach each man with a definite offer, the service you will render to his aims in return for the service he will render to yours. Let the exchange be fair, and let it be understood from the first. The mastermind is not a place for charity or for idle companionship. It is a council of builders, and every man must bring bricks to the work. Write a pledge of harmony and mutual service. Each man must sign it. This is not an empty form. It is the bond that will hold you together when difficulties arise. Fix the time and place of your meetings. Twice each week is the least frequency at which the flame of combined thought can be kept bright. Make your meetings sacred. Keep them free from trifles and idle talk. Before each meeting, prepare a written agenda. State clearly what matters are to be discussed, what decisions must be made, and what duties will be assigned. Begin on time, end on time, and let each man leave with a clear task to perform before the next meeting. Order is the spine of organized planning, and without order, the plan will fall limp. The benefit of a mastermind is greater than the sum of its members' talents. When 2 minds meet in harmony over a definite aim, a third mind is formed, a mind that contains ideas neither possessed alone. This is the mysterious force that multiplies power. It cannot be bought with gold. It can only be earned by harmony, definiteness, and mutual service. Consider Andrew Carnegie, who built an empire in steel not by his own hand, but by the united work of men chosen for their skill and loyalty. He said that his greatest asset was the ability to bring able men together and keep them working in harmony toward a definite goal. This is organized planning in its highest form. Look to Thomas Edison, who, though known as the Wizard of Menlo Park, never worked alone. He directed able assistants, each a master in his own field, and from their combined efforts came inventions that transformed the world. Edison was the directing mind, but the power of his organized planning multiplied his ideas into reality. Study George Eastman, who gathered scientists, craftsmen, and business minds into a single force. By uniting their knowledge under one plan, he made the art of photography a household tool. Or John Wanamaker, whose vast mercantile houses were ruled by orderly systems, definite duties, and constant reports, a small army moving as one. Now I command you to take your definite aim and write the names of 2 to 5 men who can help you achieve it. Write beside each name the reason you chose him and the service you can render to him. Then write what you expect to receive in return. If the exchange is not fair, adjust it until it is. This is the blueprint of your alliance. Set the date for your first council, draft your pledge, and have it signed. Prepare the agenda for your first meeting. Begin your reports at once. If a plan fails, revise it without wounded pride. The aim remains. The methods may change. The wise builder changes tools when they break, but he never abandons the foundation. Repeat aloud until it sinks into your mind. We combine our minds. We plan our work and work our plan. Harmony increases our power. This is the watchword of your counsel. Keep harmony as a farmer keeps his seed. Guard it from weeds, water it with courtesy, and feed it with mutual benefit. When you have a definite aim, a clear plan with dates, and a mastermind in harmony, you have created a living thing. It will move toward its goal as naturally as water seeks the sea. Without these, even the most brilliant desire will lie like a stone in the dust, full of potential but going nowhere. The man who believes that his pay envelope contains the full measure of his reward is already underpaid. His true wages are measured not only in the coins he receives, but in the skill he gains, the strength of character he builds, and the goodwill he earns. These are riches that cannot be taken from him once he has secured them. The habit that produces these unseen wages is the habit of rendering more service than is paid for. When you render more service than is required, you create a demand for yourself. Employers, partners, and customers cannot long ignore the man who continually gives more than he takes. Nature herself multiplies the harvest for the farmer who sows more seed than is needed for his bread. So it is in business and life. The man who plants more service than he is paid to plant will reap a greater return. But extra service alone is not enough. It must be joined to the habit of saving. The income you receive beyond your immediate needs must not be squandered. It must be planted like seed corn to produce future harvests. Saving is not hoarding. Hoarding is locking money away in fear. Saving is directing a portion of your income into tools, education, and clean ventures that will increase your usefulness and earning power. I tell you to begin saving at once, not less than 1/10 of all you receive. Do not wait for a larger income. If you cannot save from a small sum, you will not save from a large one. The discipline is worth more in the beginning than the amount. By the time your income grows, the habit will be fixed, and your savings will grow in like measure. Look to John D. Rockefeller. As a young clerk earning modest wages, he kept strict account of every cent and saved from the start. When the right venture appeared, he had the means to take it, and from that one step grew a vast fortune. Without the habit of saving, that chance might have passed him by. Think of Charles M. Schwab, who began at the bottom and rose to command great enterprises. He was known for his cheerful willingness to take on more than his duty required. His extra service made him indispensable. Opportunities sought him out because men in positions of trust knew he could be relied upon to deliver more than promised. Recall Andrew Carnegie, who started as a telegraph boy. He learned more than his tasks demanded, served beyond the call of duty, and saved what he could. These habits marked him for advancement long before he possessed any visible wealth. When the time came, his savings and skill opened the door to larger ventures. I command you now to begin a ledger of extra service. Each day, write what you did beyond your required duty. Let no day pass without such an entry. Over time, you will see in those pages the record of your advancement. The man who renders extra service daily builds an invisible staircase to opportunity. Next, make a list of 5 ways you can increase your usefulness to your present position, business, or trade. These may be improvements in method, courtesies to customers, reductions in waste, or skills to be learned. Begin with one and act upon it at once. Add another tomorrow. Within a month, your value will be greater, and so will your opportunities. Alongside your ledger, keep a record of your savings. Set aside your 10th at once when income is received, not at the end of the month. Treat this sum as a debt to your future self that must be paid before all other debts. Place it where it is safe from impulse and temptation. In time, direct these savings toward tools that make your labor more efficient, books that sharpen your mind, and ventures that align with your definite purpose. Do not spend your seed on trifles. A farmer who eats his seed corn has nothing to plant and nothing to harvest. In the same way, the man who spends all he earns has no capital to seize opportunity. Opportunity often comes suddenly, and only the man who has prepared by saving can take it. Add to your extra service 1 new courtesy each day and 1 new efficiency in your work. Courtesy costs nothing and wins much. Efficiency saves time and labor, both of which are valued by those you serve. This habit, practiced for 30 days, will not only increase your worth to others, it will increase your self-respect, for you will know you are doing more than you are paid to do. Speak aloud each day this affirmation. I render more than I am paid to render. I save with purpose. My service creates demand for my increased pay. Let it remind you that service and saving are partners in building wealth. Service alone may gain you goodwill, but no capital. Saving alone may build capital, but no opportunity. Together, they form the road to abundance. This habit, once fixed, changes your position in the world. You will no longer be among the mass who work only as much as they must and spend all they earn. You will stand apart as a man who continually grows in value and in means. Such a man cannot be held down for long. His service draws reward, and his savings secure it. From this day, measure yourself not by what you are paid, but by what you give. The man who gives more than he is paid to give is on the path to being paid more than he must give. That is the natural law of exchange, and it never fails. Bind yourself to it, and you bind yourself to advancement. Saving is only the first half of the work. The second is the wise use of what you have saved. Money in a jar is like seed in a sack, safe but useless. Only when planted does it grow. To plant savings wisely is to convert them into specialized knowledge, better tools, and clean ventures that multiply both your usefulness and your income. This is how seed becomes capital. Your savings should first purchase the means to increase your service. If you are a craftsman, invest in the finest tools you can handle. If you are in trade, improve your stock and its display. If your work depends on your mind, buy books and courses that sharpen it. Every coin spent to improve the quality or quantity of your service is a coin planted in fertile ground. Specialized knowledge is one of the most profitable investments you can make. General knowledge, no matter how vast, yields little unless organized and applied to a definite aim. But specialized knowledge, applied with skill, commands a high price. The man who knows one useful thing thoroughly and can apply it well will always be in demand. You can gain this knowledge by study, by personal experience, or by association with those who possess it. The fastest way is often to pay for it. Hire a teacher, attend a course, or work under a master of the craft. The price you pay will be small compared to the time and mistakes it will save you. While you are increasing your usefulness, cultivate the qualities that make others want to deal with you. Chief among these is a pleasing personality, a calm and confident manner, a voice free from complaint, and an appearance that reflects care and order. These traits are silent letters of credit. They open doors before a word is spoken. Initiative is another form of capital. The man who does what needs to be done without waiting to be told is worth more to any organization than the man who must be driven. Initiative, joined with extra service, marks you for advancement. It shows that you are not content to be merely an instrument. You are a builder. Add also the habit of cooperation. The man who works well with others multiplies the effect of his own efforts. In business, as in battle, the victory is seldom won by the lone fighter. It is won by the group that moves as one. Learn to fit your skill into the work of others and theirs into yours. This builds goodwill, which is a form of capital more enduring than money. Look to John Wanamaker, who built a mercantile empire by earning the trust of both customers and employees. His dealings were fair, his service abundant, and his word as good as his bond. This goodwill was a silent force that kept customers returning and competitors respecting him. Consider George Eastman, who took the complex art of photography and made it simple enough for any household. He invested in the knowledge and skill of others, organized it into a plan, and delivered a product the public could use. His fortune was built not merely on cameras, but on the trust and satisfaction of his customers. Study the merchants and builders whose enterprises have endured for generations. In nearly every case, you will find that their wealth rests on a foundation of goodwill. They may have begun with little capital, but they began building goodwill from the first transaction, and that goodwill became a form of credit that opened greater opportunities. I command you now to dedicate at least 1 hour each day to increasing your specialized knowledge. Guard this hour as you would guard your savings. Use it to read, study, experiment, or learn from others. In a year, you will possess skills and understanding that most men never acquire because they waste their hours in idleness. Make a list of men from whom you can buy or exchange knowledge. Some may teach for a fee. Others may share in return for your service. Approach them with a fair offer. Knowledge gained in this way will yield a return for the rest of your life. Form a reading circle with your allies. Each member brings material of value to the group: books, articles, reports, and shares the key points. This will multiply the effect of your study and expose you to ideas you might not have found alone. Once a week, review your savings and decide how to invest them in improving your service. Keep a record of every such investment and the return it yields. You will see for yourself that the coins spent in this way multiply far beyond those spent on trifles. Speak this affirmation daily. My savings are seed. I buy knowledge and tools. I increase my worth each week. Let it remind you that capital is not merely money. It is skill, trust, and the ability to render service that others will gladly pay for. When you direct your savings into capital and goodwill, you set in motion a law that will keep you moving upward. Each increase in your usefulness brings an increase in your pay. Each increase in your pay allows more saving. Each increase in saving allows more capital, and more capital allows greater usefulness. This is the upward spiral that leads to freedom. The man who masters this habit will never be at the mercy of a single employer, customer, or market. He will have skills that can be sold anywhere, goodwill that draws opportunity, and capital to seize it. He will be the master of his work and the builder of his fortune. Controlled attention is the power to hold your mind upon one subject until it yields what you demand of it. It is the magic key that turns desire into reality. Without this power, even the clearest aim and the soundest plan are like seeds dropped on barren rock. They cannot take root, for the mind wanders before the work is done. With it, you can bend circumstances, gather knowledge, and direct every effort toward your definite purpose. The average man lets his attention drift wherever chance or curiosity takes it. He starts a task and leaves it half finished because another thought intrudes. He listens to gossip and idle talk until his mind is filled with scraps of other men's thinking. He has no power to hold a thought long enough to make it bear fruit. This weakness alone is enough to keep him poor, for wealth is the harvest of sustained thought applied to a definite plan. To control your attention, you must first decide what deserves it. Your written aim is the chart. If a thought, a task, or an invitation does not advance your aim, it does not deserve your attention. This rule is simple, but most men lack the discipline to keep it. They treat their attention as common property to be seized by any passing trifle and then wonder why their progress is slow. Attention is strengthened by faith, for a man who believes in his aim can hold it in mind without tiring. Faith is not a gift. It is a state of mind that you must create, and the instrument by which you create it is autosuggestion, the deliberate planting of ideas in the subconscious mind by repeated statements charged with emotion. Your subconscious mind is the unseen builder of your destiny. It receives the orders you give it, whether of poverty or riches, fear or courage, and it works them into reality. It does not reason, it obeys. It will accept whatever you repeat with conviction and act upon it, drawing to you the people, circumstances, and ideas that match your belief. Therefore, read your definite chief aim aloud twice each day, once upon rising, once before retiring. As you read, see and feel yourself already in possession of the object of your desire. Speak as though you were announcing a fact. Let your voice carry the tone of certainty. Your subconscious will accept this as truth, and once it accepts, it will act as though it were already so. It is not the words alone that carry the command. It is the feeling behind them. Words without feeling are like seeds cast upon stone. Words charged with belief, desire, and determination are like seeds planted in rich soil, watered and warmed by the sun. That is why you must not merely read your aim, you must feel it, see it, and act upon it daily. Beware the 6 basic fears: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death, for they are the enemies of controlled attention. They enter the mind through idle talk, discouraging company, and constant worry. When fear is present, it scatters the mind and destroys faith. Close your mind to discouraging influence as you would close your door against a thief. From time to time, you will receive flashes of plan or direction, an idea that comes suddenly without warning. This is the work of what I call the sixth sense, the faculty by which infinite intelligence reaches you. These flashes often carry the very key you need at that moment. They come to those whose minds are prepared by definiteness of purpose, faith, and persistence. When such a flash comes, act upon it at once. Do not wait for clearer light. It will fade. Many fortunes have been made or lost in the moment between the flash of an idea and the decision to act. Trust that the same power that sent the idea will guide you in carrying it out. Consider the countless men who have held to their belief while building works we now call great. They stood alone at first, ridiculed or ignored, yet they kept their attention fixed on their aim. Time, labor, and faith transformed their ideas into realities that changed the lives of millions. Their secret was not luck. It was the habit of holding the mind to a single purpose until it yielded the desired result. I command you to give 1 hour each day to concentrated study of your field, guarded from all interruption. During this hour, refuse every call, every errand, every wandering thought. Use it to deepen your knowledge, refine your plan, and rehearse the attainment of your aim in your mind until it is vivid and real. Keep a record of every idea or impulse that comes to you concerning your aim. Review this record weekly with your master mind. Many a passing thought has contained the seed of a fortune, but it was lost because it was not written down and acted upon. Speak daily this covenant. I believe and act. I feed my mind only that which serves my purpose. I welcome the guiding flash and obey at once. Let it become so natural to you that it governs your conduct without effort. Controlled attention joined with faith and autosuggestion transforms ordinary power into extraordinary achievement. It takes the scattered sunlight of thought and focuses it into a beam strong enough to burn through obstacles. When you master this habit, nothing within the reach of man will remain beyond your reach. Controlled attention must be kept in motion, or it will fade into daydreaming. The means by which you keep it alive are decision and persistence. Decision is the act of fixing your mind upon a course and refusing to move from it until the aim is achieved or the plan is replaced with a better. Persistence is the habit of continuing that course in the face of obstacles, fatigue, and temporary defeat. One without the other is powerless. Together they are the driving wheels of achievement. Indecision is the destroyer of controlled attention. It keeps the mind shifting from one object to another, never holding it long enough to gain mastery. The man who cannot decide promptly is at the mercy of the man who can. Decision must be cultivated until it becomes as natural as breathing. The definite man decides quickly when a course serves his aim, and slowly, if at all, when it does not. Once the decision is made, persistence must take over. Temporary defeat is not failure. It is a signal to strengthen your plan and renew your effort. Many men have failed not because their aim was unsound, but because they abandoned it at the first sign of resistance. The persistent man treats resistance as proof that he is moving. He pushes against it until it yields. There are 4 supports upon which persistence rests. The first is a burning purpose, a desire so strong that it drives you forward despite weariness or discouragement. The second is a definite plan, expressed in continuous action. The third is a mind closed against all negative and discouraging influences, including those from supposed friends and family. The fourth is a friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage you to follow through with both plan and purpose. Consider Thomas A. Edison, who set out to produce electric light. He tested thousands of materials, each time meeting with temporary defeat. Lesser men would have called it failure and stopped. Edison called it progress and pressed on until success was in hand. His persistence turned experiments into invention and invention into fortune. Henry Ford decided to build a car for the masses. He held to this plan despite ridicule from the established makers and resistance from financiers who urged him to build luxury models for greater profit. His persistence in holding to his decision put wheels under the common man and changed the world's industry. Abraham Lincoln, through years of political defeat and personal sorrow, held to the purpose of preserving the Union. Criticism, war, and personal loss could not turn him from that aim. History remembers not the setbacks, but the persistence that carried him through them. I command you to make at least one decision today that will advance your definite aim. Take it before night falls. Do not wait until every fact is in hand, for they never will be. Act on the best you have and gather the rest on the march. This habit, once fixed, will give you mastery over time itself, for you will move while others wait. Choose also one labor that you will repeat daily for 90 days in the service of your aim. It may be a call, a letter, a sale, a page of writing, a sum saved, or a skill practiced. Keep a record of each day you perform it. This is how persistence is built, one kept promise at a time. Keep an hour ledger for 7 days, marking exactly how each hour is spent. At the end, strike out the hours that did not serve your aim and replace them with hours that will. This will reveal to you how much of your time is stolen by drift and how much you can reclaim for decisive, persistent action. Guard your environment. Controlled attention, decision, and persistence cannot flourish in soil poisoned by discord, idleness, or fear. Remove one weakening influence each week, be it a habit, a place, or a companion that saps your strength. Surround yourself with men and women who believe in your purpose and strengthen your will. Harmony is not a luxury, it is a necessity. If a member of your master mind becomes a source of discord and cannot be reconciled, you must replace him. The alliance must be a forge where your plans are strengthened, not a drain that saps their heat. Repeat aloud each morning, I decide now. I never quit. I keep company with men who strengthen my will. Let these words anchor your day. They will remind you that persistence is not blind stubbornness, but intelligent continuation toward a worthy goal, guided by decision and shielded by a guarded environment. When decision, persistence, and environment work together, they create a rhythm, a steady pulse of progress. Each decision builds confidence. Each act of persistence builds momentum. Each improvement in environment makes the next decision easier and the next act of persistence more certain. This rhythm, once established, will carry you over obstacles with less effort than you once spent standing still. The man who masters this rhythm is no longer a prisoner of circumstance. He becomes the master of his time, his work, and his destiny. His life is not a series of accidents and reactions, but a march toward a chosen summit. And because his steps are steady and his direction clear, others will follow, adding their strength to his. We have reached the point where the 3 habits stand before you, not as separate lessons, but as one law. Definiteness of purpose chooses the summit toward which you climb. Extra service joined to the habit of saving builds the road under your feet. Controlled attention, reinforced by faith, autosuggestion, decision, and persistence, drives your steps forward day after day without turning back. If you would have unlimited wealth, wealth of purse, wealth of influence, wealth of peace, these 3 habits must be welded together until they are one. It is not enough to admire them, to agree with them, or to intend to use them. The world is filled with men who have admired truth and remained poor, who have agreed with sound counsel and still failed, who have intended to act and never moved. The difference between the man who hears and the man who possesses is the act of beginning now. Delay is the first sign of drift. Drift is the slow current that carries you back into the crowd. I give you now a 30-day drill by which you may fix these habits into your nature so that they will serve you without effort. Each day, morning and night, read your definite chief aim aloud with feeling, seeing yourself in possession of the object of your desire. Keep a daily ledger of extra service rendered beyond what you are paid for, and each day save not less than 1/10 of all you receive. Dedicate 1 full hour, guarded from interruption, to study or action that increases your usefulness in the service of your aim. Meet with your mastermind council twice each week to review plans, remove obstacles, and assign next steps. Each day, challenge 1 fear, encourage 1 ally, and strike out 1 waste from your use of time. At the end of 30 days, these acts will have begun to root themselves as habits. But habits grow stronger with continued care. So I set before you a 90-day charter for your mastermind. Within it, each member must sign the pledge of harmony and mutual service. Duties must be fixed and agreed upon. Reports must be kept and examined. Plans must be revised without wounded pride when they fail and strengthened when they succeed. Above all, harmony must be guarded as the life of the alliance, for without harmony the mastermind ceases to exist. Understand this: the 3 habits are not merely methods of acquiring money. They are the laws by which you may acquire any form of wealth, position, influence, skill, peace of mind, or the ability to serve a great cause. Money is but one expression of wealth. To seek it alone is to court disappointment. But if you master the habits for their own sake, money will come as one of many rewards. If you refuse to practice these habits, you must accept the price. That price is worry over bills, small pay accepted as fate, fear of change, dependence upon the will of others, the constant pressure of time spent on tasks that lead nowhere, and the bitter knowledge in later years that you might have lived differently had you begun when you had the chance. This price is heavier than the discipline of the 3 habits, but it is paid in silence and over many years, so most men do not recognize it until the debt is beyond payment. If you accept the discipline, the rewards will be freedom from want, the ability to choose your work and your associates, the respect of those whose respect is worth having, the calm of knowing you have provision for the future, and the deep satisfaction of seeing your plan take form under your own hand. These rewards do not arrive in a single day, but they come steadily, and once they are yours, they cannot be taken from you except by your own neglect. To bind these habits to yourself, I give you this oath. Stand when you speak it and speak it aloud. I am definite. I render just and abundant service. I save with purpose. I hold my mind upon one aim. I decide and persist. I keep harmony. I advance daily. Say this each morning before you begin your day, and each night before you rest. Let it be the seal upon your thoughts and acts. When you speak this oath, you are not speaking to me. You are speaking to the man you intend to become. You are telling him that you will not betray his future for the sake of present ease. You are promising to carry him to the height you have chosen, to build the road under his feet, and to keep his eyes fixed upon the summit